Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I bring you a first impressions video of Holbein acrylic gouache. I don't use acrylics very often and I'm only recently really getting into gouache. So this set was waiting to be used for about a year or two, ever since I bought it. I never actually sat down and tried them out properly, like I did today. I'm really happy and ready to finally be trying it. It was about 12 euros, which for Holbein I think it's pretty cheap. Holbein is known to be very expensive in Europe and America, so, 12 euros for a 5-piece set is not very expensive, at least for them. It is a primary color set, so it has a cool yellow, a middle of the road red, and a very cool blue, as well as black and white. I'm not super happy about the light fastness, I'm not super happy about the color selection, but let's start with the light fastness. The blue is called Sky Blue and it is made with PB15, so phthalo blue, which is a very light fast and transparent pigment. It probably has some kind of white filler because it is very opaque, and in this case that's exactly what you want because it's supposed to be an opaque paint. But for me, since I'm used to watercolor, it's kind of weird to see PB15 in an opaque color. Then titanium white is also very light fast. It's PW6, which is also named titanium white, and it's very opaque as expected from the pigment. Now, the ones I'm not really happy with are the lemon yellow is made with PY3, a typical cool lemon yellow, and the light fastness usually is not great. I'm not sure how it behaves in acrylic paint, but in watercolor, PY3 has a tendency to darken with light and get more brown in mass tone, and the tints tend to basically disappear over long exposure to the sun or light in general, so I'm not very happy about it. Then the red is made with PR170, Naphthol red, and is called Carmine, I think. The light fastness is not great with Naphthol red. The black is called Jet Black and is made with PBK1, which is a not light fast at all black pigment, and that worries me because I really like how deep this black is. This one is so dark and rich, and I really liked painting with it, so it made me really sad to find out it was fugitive, or maybe not fugitive but not light fast. It is called, like the PBK one is aniline black. Can you see a trend here? Like 3 out of 5 colors have pretty low light fastness. I'm not really happy at all with that because I did use it in my sketchbook today, but the things I would use acrylic gouache for are things that would probably be exposed to light way more than the things I use gouache or regular gouache for. So yeah, I'm a bit sad about that. But overall, I guess it's just a starter set, so maybe it will be better for the rest of the color selection, of the brand. Maybe it's better, I don't know. I haven't checked the pigment info of all the other colors. I'm pretty sure they also must have some more permanent colors there. Then overall, about the color selection, in terms of color temperature, I think this is a very green-leaning palette. It creates really bright and very fun greens because it has a cool yellow and a cool blue, but then the oranges are not that bad. Oranges are pretty decent, but since it is a middle of the road red with a very cool yellow, The oranges are not as bright as they could be. They are just a tiny little bit behind what I usually enjoy for oranges. And the purples are pretty weird and pretty dark. And it feels like those purples don't fit with the rest of the palette. And that's because you need a warm blue and a cool red to make a good purple. And you have a warm red and a cool blue in this palette. So the purples are really muted and really dark. I really like muted palettes like that, but it bothers me to have such bright greens with such weird purples. I don't know if this makes any sense. It's just I'm a bit picky about my purples, and I, for a starter set, I would way prefer to have a more magenta like red, not super cool, but like just a tiny bit cooler than it is. And I would be really happy and just rave about this palette. I don't know if you know what I mean by that, but it's just have a little bit of a cooler red, a little bit of a warmer yellow, and it would be the perfect primary set. You know what I mean? I hope this made sense to you. I really like the fact that it is matte, like gouache, but since it is waterproof, the same way acrylic is, it's really nice to not disturb the layer underneath. So I think this would be really nice to use as a way to plan out linocut reduction prints, because you can paint in flat layers the same way linocut works, and I think that would be pretty nice. But the messier way I usually paint is not great for this medium because it is really stressful. I don't want to ruin my brushes because this is acrylic. This will ruin brushes if you are not careful. But at the same time, I don't want to use crappy brushes. I want to use my decent brushes to do this. And I think it's only fair to use decent brushes with nice paint. But it's so stressful to try not to let the paint dry on the brush. And that really bugged me. So I think the next time I'm using this will be for like a background and then paint with regular gouache on top, or use it to plan out linocut prints, like reduction prints. But I really liked painting with it, even though it was pretty stressful. I actually really enjoyed it. I would definitely buy it again if this runs out. I just wouldn't use it for painting the way I did in the demo painting. About the demo painting then, I think this may look a little bit weird to you, but I really like snails. I find them really cute and really fun. And they also bite. Did you know that snails bite? I didn't know until I was bitten by one. It is kind of strange because it just felt um like a top tooth and a bottom tooth, just like on my finger. It was kind of strange. Well, sorry for going on about snails, but I really like them and I really like to draw them. So I decided to paint one. And also, I really like the idea the of them carrying their home on their back. So I thought it would be fun to create a mix between a snail's house and a person's house. So it what I did was there's this little bit of the view from my balcony that is a public garden I really enjoy. And I decided to grab a little bit of that garden and one of the buildings right beside it and make it part of the snail house. So the snail lives inside its husk. Is that how you call it? The spirally thing. But then he could have friends, like tiny friends, like people or ants or anything, like tiny friends living in that house in the garden. So I thought it was a cute idea, so I decided to paint it. And it is very messily painted because I wanted to use up all the paint on the palette from when I was mixing, so it became very messy, but I really like it. I think something that I usually don't think about with regular gouache is how much paint you could be wasting if you couldn't reactivate it. But with regular gouache, you just grab the palette again and spray it a little bit and go back to using the paint. While with acrylic gouache, you just, if it dries and it's just gone. And it hurts because it's expensive paint. Even though this set was pretty cheap for Holbein standards, they are fairly small tubes and I don't want to waste paint, you know what I mean? So it it becomes a little bit stressful to try to get to the color you want. So I always feel like I have to mix less paint than what I need. It's a little bit weird. It's a little bit stressful, but I would definitely recommend you try it. I will leave a link down below to the Jackson's thing where I bought this. It is an affiliate link. The sketchbook I'm using is the Caddy Papers that I used, I think, in the past few videos. In the Making a Mess series, I used this sketchbook, and so far I'm really enjoying it. Like, the cotton texture is very pleasing to draw or to paint on. So yeah, I'm extremely happy with how this page turned out. I think I have told you before, but I really enjoy seeing very tidy swatches and then a very messy painting on top. And I think this is the embodiment of that statement. And I'm pretty happy with that. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope to see you next week. Stay safe and see you then. Thanks. Bye!